Om Shri Sai Ram. Dear students, in today's video, we will be starting our discussion on the topic light, reflection and refraction. In the first module, we will be discussing the general introduction about light and plane mirrors. So, this module is divided into these aspects. So, all these aspects will be referring in this particular video. The outline is as shown here. What is light? What do we mean by reflection of light? What are plane mirrors? What are the laws that govern the reflection of light? What are the characteristics of an image formed by a plane mirror? And what are the characteristics in general of any image that is formed? So, light. The basic definition of light as per the science book is though all of us know what is light, as per the definition, light is defined as a form of energy that enables us to see and visualize things. So, light falls on objects, objects reflect the light into our eye, the eye sends the information to the brain, and that is how we perceive the objects. So, light is something that creates the sensation of vision in us. Light starts from a source and bounces off objects which are perceived by our eyes, and our brain processes this signal which eventually enables us to see. So, this is what basically happens. Light rays fall on a surface and they bounce back. The reflected light is what we perceive. More so of this, how the eye perceives and it sends the signals to the brain, and then how brain interprets, we will be discussing in the next chapter, that is human eye and the colorful world. So, in this particular chapter, we will be discussing two basic principles of reflection and refraction of light. So, though light exhibits many phenomena, so at your level we will be discussing two main basic properties of light, that is reflection of light and refraction of light. And you should also know there are various other phenomena exhibited by light like interference, diffraction, polarization, etc., which you will be discussing in your higher classes. The basics of reflection of light is seen in mirrors, and most of you have gone through what are plane mirrors, what are the laws of reflection of light, and what are the characteristics formed by what are the characteristics of an image formed by a plane mirror. And in this particular chapter in 10th class, you will be discussing the other kinds of mirrors, that is what are spherical mirrors. You would have heard the terms like concave and convex mirrors. So, those you will be discussing in 10th class. So, mirrors are those components which are used which reflect light. So, these mirrors we will be studying mirrors, the reflection of light in mirrors. Similarly, refraction of light, this will be the first time most of you will be hearing this term called refraction of light. And then lenses are the instruments, or these are the components which you will be using to study refraction of light. And also you will be studying refraction of light through a glass slab and a prism. So, we start with reflection of light. So, when it comes to reflection of light, we have mirrors that are the best examples for reflection of light. Plane mirrors. The phenomena of bouncing back of light into the same medium by the smooth surface is called reflection. So, this is how we define what a reflection is, and this is what is a mirror. A flat and polished surface that has almost no irregularities on its surface and reflects light is called as a plane mirror. So, having seen what do you mean by a plane mirror, so hope all of you have seen this images of plane mirrors, and then there is a very interesting phenomena that is exhibited by plane mirrors, though we see it daily. We rarely observe that this mirrors, the plane mirrors that we use in our daily life, they have a very special property which we'll have to pay attention, because none of these mirrors, they capture the image. So as the object comes in front of the mirror, they just reflect back. And then suppose imagine what happens when many objects are displayed in front of this mirror and it starts capturing all the images. You can imagine what kind of chaos it can create. So this is how in general people give an example that the mind should just be like a plane mirror which only reflects, and nothing should be stored inside beyond a certain capacity. And this is how this is the main property of the mirror which makes it so unique. And we'll be continuing laws of reflection of light. In your lower classes you would have studied what are the basic laws of reflection of light, but before that all of you hope you will be aware of this nomenclature of what is incident ray, what is a reflected ray, what is a normal. So all these terms, hope you are aware of it. So any ray of light that strikes the plane mirror, it is called as the incident ray, and after striking the surface of the mirror, the light ray, when it changes its direction and reflected back, this is known as the reflected ray. And for the surface of the mirror, for the surface of the plane mirror, the imaginary line that we draw which is perpendicular to this surface, we call it normal. So this is called this is the normal imaginary, and then we can see that the angle between normal and the mirror surface is shown as 90 degrees. So from the surface to the surface of the mirror, any imaginary line that we draw which is perpendicular, this is called normal. So that basing on this reference of normal, we will know what will be the angle of incidence and angle of reflection. And we also know what do you mean by angle of incidence. The angle made by the incident ray with the normal is called angle of incidence. So this angle, and then in your lower classes you would have solved few numericals based on angle of incidence and angle of reflection. So given one of them, how do you find out? Suppose they give us this particular angle, what will be the angle of incidence or what will be the angle of reflection, you would have studied. Similarly, angle of reflection, the angle made by the reflected ray with the normal. So this reflected ray with the normal, this angle is called angle of reflection. And you can see, suppose the mirror is tilted in a different plane, you will be seeing how do we draw the normal for that particular surface and how do we measure angle of incidence and angle of reflection. Now, all of you are aware of the two main laws of reflection of light. The incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal, all three lie on the same plane. And the second law of reflection, the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. This is for plane mirrors. So whenever you are having plane mirrors, these are the two laws of reflection that we talk about. Now, let's revise the characteristics of image formed by a plane mirror. All of you have studied in your earlier classes and all of us know what are the characteristics. The plane mirrors forms an erect image. Erect means it is straight, as is the object, so is the image. There is no inversion that is happening here. It forms a virtual image. Now, this particular word you see here, the virtual, this particular word that you see, it's very important because from now you will be referring to this particular word many times. Even when you are studying, for example, plane mirror or concave mirror or convex mirror, that is the spherical mirrors when we are studying, we will be referring to this particular word called virtual, and shortly we will be coming to what is a virtual image. Size of the image formed is same as the size of the object. Suppose we stand in front of the plane mirror and then there is a particular dimension or size of the object that is placed in front of the plane mirror, the size of the reflection that is seen inside is also same. Unlike the spherical mirrors, the image is formed at the same distance behind the mirror as the object stands in front of it. Suppose you are standing 1 meter in front of the mirror, we perceive that the image is formed 1 meter inside the mirror, that is within the mirror, and the image formed is laterally inverted. Now we know this phenomena of lateral inversion in plane mirrors. So when you stand in front of the mirror and then suppose you extend your right hand, in the mirror it appears as left. Now let us see here, let us see point by point. The plane mirror forms an erect image. So the person is standing here and the image is also formed here. It forms a virtual image. Virtual image means the image which cannot be obtained on a screen. So the mirror that is the image that is formed inside the plane mirror, it can never be obtained. It is just inside the mirror as long as the object is standing in front of it. This particular virtual will be coming to in the next slides. Size of the image is same as that of the object. Now look at the dimension of this particular person. He is having a particular height. The image that is formed inside also will be same. You will not be an inch taller nor an inch shorter. As is the size of the object, that will be the size of the image. The image is formed at the same distance behind the mirror as it stands in front of it. Now look at this. Now from the person to the mirror, let us call this as distance x1. Now inside the mirror also the image will be formed at the same distance as that of the object. As much you are closer to the mirror, that closer the reflection will be. As far, suppose you move far away from the mirror, the image also appears to move farther inside the mirror. And the image is formed laterally inverted. When you stretch, for example, a right hand in front of the mirror, inside the mirror you will see as if it is from the mirror point of view, it will be lateral, that is left hand is being stretched. So these are the main basic characteristics of the image formed by a plane mirror, which you have studied in your earlier classes. Now in general, what will be the characteristics of an image? So images can be, so whenever we talk of an image formed, we need to talk of three main components of that particular image. Whether the image is real or virtual, whether the image is erect or inverted, whether the image is magnified or diminished. We will take up one by one and then see how the image formed. So we have to talk of all the three properties for an image formed. Suppose an image is formed by a plane mirror, we have seen what happens. Now as we go further, we will be discussing about image formation by spherical mirrors, that is images that are formed in a concave mirror as well as a convex mirror. Now for each image that is formed, we will have to tell whether the image is real or virtual, which we will be seeing now, whether the image is erect or inverted, whether it is magnified or diminished. So this is an example of a spherical mirror. Right now you will not be able to tell what kind of mirror it is, but you know that there is an object that is placed in front of the mirror and then the image is formed. Now you can see the object is of a certain size, the image is of a certain size, the object is in a particular orientation, the image is in the opposite direction, which means the image is inverted, and then you can see whether the object can be obtained on a screen or not. So let us talk of the first one, real images and virtual images. A real image is formed by the actual convergence of light rays, and this can be obtained on a screen. Suppose we are talking of a spherical mirror and then you place an object in front of the mirror, and if the mirror is able to reflect the image, and then once the mirror reflects the image, you are able to obtain on a screen or on a sheet of paper or on any obstacle placed in front of the mirror. If the image can be obtained, then it is called as a real image. Suppose you are not able to obtain the image, like in the case of a plane mirror. We stand in front of the mirror, the object is placed in front of the mirror and the image is formed within the mirror. There is no means by which we will be able to get the reflection or get the copy of that image on any other sheet of paper placed. So, such an image is called virtual image. Now, you know why we call a plane mirror forms a virtual image, because as long as the object is in front of the mirror only, the image is being shown or reflected in the mirror. The moment object moves away, the image also disappears in the mirror. There is no means by which we will be able to obtain the image on a screen. Now, this real image, now you will be wondering whether are there any mirrors which we will be able to produce a real image, because just now we have seen that a plane mirror produces a virtual image. Now, is there any component or any special kind of mirror that produces real image? Yes, such mirrors are there. These are coming under the classification of spherical mirrors, and when we study more about spherical mirrors, how many kinds of spherical mirrors are there and what we talk about the nature of images formed by them, then you will understand clearly as to how we can obtain a real image through a spherical mirror. So, under the characteristics of an image, the first type we have seen how to classify the image as a real image or a virtual image. Now, if an image is formed upside down, then it is called inverted or it is called an erect image. Now, you know, it is very obvious, this is an erect image. Suppose the person is standing in front of a mirror and then the mirror shows him as it is. It will be called a erect or inverted, this will be erect image, right. And now, how should the inverted image be? It should be just upside down. This is how it will look. So, an erect image shows the person or the object as it is. The inverted image will show it upside down in the mirror. The last part, if the image formed is bigger than the object, then it is called magnified image. So, now we have seen what is an inverted image and an erect image. Now, we will be coming to what is a magnified image and what is a diminished image. Now, these are the two watchwords you will have to look for. Now, plane mirror, there is no problem, because as is the size of the object, so will be the size of the image. It will be neither larger or shorter than the image formed is exactly the same size as that of the object. Now, there are some mirrors which will magnify the image. Suppose the object is 1 centimeter taller, the image formed will be greater than 1 centimeter. And then sometimes there are some other mirrors you will be seeing it as diminished, which means the height of the image will be less than 1 centimeter. Now, when you go to exhibition or science fair, you will be seeing various kinds of mirrors, and then you will be seeing how a person will be looking larger or he will be looking taller or shorter in some of the mirrors. In some mirrors he will be looking much fatter, some mirrors he will be looking very thin. So, there are a lot of distortions that are happening. So, there are kinds of mirrors which will magnify the image, and then there are kinds of mirrors which will diminish the image. Okay. So, these are the three main properties we will be discussing, three main characteristics we will be discussing when we talk of the image formed. So, later when we study spherical mirrors, an image is obtained. Now, once the image is obtained, we should be able to tell whether it is inverted or erect, whether it is magnified or diminished, whether it is a real image or a virtual image. So, this particular tabular column will show the distinction between a real image and a virtual image. A real image is formed when the rays actually meet. So, later when we will be discussing and studying about how the converging mirrors or the concave mirrors produce the image, we will be seeing why they produce a real image. Whereas in virtual image, this will be formed when the rays appear to meet. There is no actual convergence that is happening, but they appear to meet or they appear to converge at a particular point within the mirror. A real image can be obtained on a screen. This can never be obtained on a screen, And this is the most important point you will have to see. A real image is always inverted and a virtual image is always erect. So, suppose they give you that a mirror produces an inverted image, which means the image produced is a real image. And then suppose the mirror produces an erect image, if it is said in the question, you should understand that the image is virtual. So, these are the two watchwords you will have to look for: erect and inverted. A real image is always inverted and a virtual image is always erect. So, this you will have to remember. The image, so what is an example for a real image? An image formed by a concave mirror is an example of a real image, though concave mirror produces virtual image as well. So, majority of the cases at a particular distance or at a particular position, if you place the object in front of the concave mirror, it produces real image, and a plane mirror produces a virtual image. Apart from a plane mirror, a convex mirror also produces virtual images. Always a convex mirror produces virtual image, a concave mirror produces real images as well as virtual images, and we know a plane mirror anyway produces a virtual image. So, in this particular module we have discussed the basics of what do you mean by light, what is reflection of light, what are the laws of reflection of light, what are plane mirrors, and what are the characteristics of an image formed by a plane mirror, and in general what are the characteristics of any image that is formed. So, with this we will be winding up our discussion for this particular module, and we will continue with the next module in the later sessions. Thank you. Sai Ram.